All right. Here we are. Hey, everybody.
Am I supposed to do this too? Hang on.
All right. So
we can see Judy. Can y'all see both of us?
why don't you pull it up for a second? Let's make sure everybody's here.
I
So
don't know.
if you can see us, let us know. If you can see Miss Judy, let us know.
I didn't hit anything, so I don't know if anybody can see from my page. Here,
Okay, they can see all of it.
I have my handy dandy notebook right here, so I can pull up and see if I'm.
All right, Catherine says she sees all of us.
Yep, everybody sees us.
But you see me live on my page? No, I'm not on my page.
Okay, you
So
may have to hit go live too.
All right, hang on.
Y'all, we're gonna get this figured out.
Yeah, so these are probably our people.
Yeah, but she needs to be on too, so
Right. It'll be broadcasted on her
everybody
page.
she's got can see.
Okay, so go ahead and give our disclaimer about our camera situation, because we're looking at the sky.
Well, I'm reading comments, but I'm watching the screen too. We have multiple screens up, so if it looks like I'm looking over you, I'm reading the screen, but our webcam is a little bit lower than the comment screen. So if that makes sense.
I'm not really looking at the sky. Yeah, everybody's a her people too.
Judy, they're just saying that they're your people too anyway.
Oh, they are? Are they on my page?
That's what they said.
Okay, this is not working. Okay. Well, it's
Are you on your channel?
Y'all, I don't know what I'm doing.
I can see if she's live on.
Well, let me click on Judy's and see.
When I did Andale's, I'm not on my phone. It don't matter. I mean, it does because I would like my phone.
We do. We need to have you on there.
But I can't figure. I had to hit stream to your audience. Let me try it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Join.
Yeah, we figuring it out as we go.
I see A and W. I bet this hat looks familiar to them.
Customize.
Okay, they're not seeing you
now. I think it's okay. I think I'm on now.
Okay.
I am. Let me check.
Okay, they weren't seeing you, but I guess they probably are now.
Let me see. I think it's working.
Y'all, we have both been
quit, buddy.
We both came in on two wheels.
Could somebody go on Snead's Farmhouse and tell me if I'm live? I see me on y'all's page.
You're on here, Judy.
I see you just now.
You've been on 6 seconds. You're on. There we go.
We did it.
We got it now, Judy.
Okay.
Judy's got better light than we do.
Look, you see in her.
You may tell you why. Look.
Look, she looks like she's. Yep.
That's what it is.
I'm so jealous.
I'm fancy.
I'm gonna have one of those in my closet one day.
But don't look at my background because I hadn't made the bed, but they're used to that.
That's okay. That's okay. Somebody might say something about how short.
Drink up to Kool-Aid.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Cherry Kool-Aid with nothing in it but ice.
We have a ring light. That's the whole thing. See it in my glasses. Y'all just bear with us.
It's just small. But anyway.
All right. So we are Nick and Zoe. We have Chestnut Hills Farmstead. And we have teamed up with Miss Judy. You want to tell them who you are?
I'm Judy, better known as your Aunt Judy.
Aunt Judy. Brett asked me today if you were really his
aunt.
That
was a debate in our house today.
I am his aunt. Don't y'all tell him any differently.
Because he said something about Aunt Judy, and one of the kids said, well, she's not really your aunt. And he's, yes, she is. And Catherine is Aunt Catherine.
Is Aunt Catherine.
That's so funny.
What do it, buddy?
I'm trying to turn our volume up some.
Yeah, do that. Baby, go do your Legos.
Go do your Legos, Rat.
Go do your Legos. Baby, I don't have tires. Okay. Say, Nico said, hi, Aunt Judy, Nick, and Zoe. Yep. He's got it right.
Because Catherine has cosmic brownies. That's right.
That's why she's Aunt
Glad to
Catherine.
be here.
We both had a pretty interesting week this
We
week.
did. In 2 days, we've had many hooves hit the ground, didn't we?
On both sides.
On both sides.
And y'all both managed to do it live with dying cell
with
phones.
dying cell phones.
y'all were both dying. I put in the comments. Judy was busy. I was like, you and Zoe need to learn how to charge your phones before you go live.
I've
It's like,
actually gotten.
could you wait just a minute for about 30 minutes while I go charge my phone?
I know.
Pull that in right there.
I usually leave one of those portable charging boxes in my car so that I'll have it if my phone starts dying, but I wasn't in my car. I was in the other vehicle.
So,
have you noticed how like we kill ourselves to show our followers, like live stuff? Like the first thing that you think of is, oh God, I got to show my followers.
Yeah, no kidding. You've got a pig in labor, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, I need to cut my phone on.
That's
Yeah,
right.
because I don't know about y'all, but I truly try to put my subscribers and followers first. I try to show them live what happens on my farm, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so, the first thing I did was grab my phone and went, oh my gosh, I've got to show them.
Because it happens. I mean, this is real. It's
Well, the topic of discussion today was how our farms are different, but we have common goals.
That's right.
And I guess next to taking care of the animals, your second goal is bringing it to your followers.
It is.
Every part of it. Judy, how hard is it to do your farm chores with one hand? Because you're trying to video it.
Especially when you want to get fancy and show different angles. And...
Look at Cog Hill Farm getting on here.
Hey, y'all.
To see if we get it. They're making sure we get it right.
It's funny because I see other people and I'm like, oh, well, they're lucky because Brooke's filming Jason and I don't have Shane to film me. And they're like, oh no, Judy, I'm filming it myself. I'm like, Joker, how do you do that?
That's right.
How do you do that? Because I'm like trying to do it myself. But some people make it look so easy that you think it's multiple people filming.
Yes.
And it's like one person.
We've had comments something about me filming Zoe, and I'm like, y'all, I was at work. Zoe was filming that. She just moving her tripod around and trying to change angles and all that good stuff. So you're trying to do that in the middle of farm chores.
Twice as long.
After getting screamed out by about 1,000 people telling me that I needed a speaker, I finally went, do y'all know this costs $200? Like, I ain't rich, but I invested and I went and got the speaker and I was like, oh my gosh, I can leave it right. I'm sorry, microphone. I'm saying the wrong word, but I was like, they're right. Like, this is an investment to my followers to have the microphone because I can really show them live stuff versus not having it and trying to walk around like this all day.
Right. Yeah. You can be two-handed and put your phone on a tripod and walk around and they can still hear you as close as we are.
Well, I don't know whether to call them followers or subscribers. So
I'm your backup dancers.
I'm going to say my backup dancers.
We have Chestnut.
They've watched YouTube so much. They're like, hey, Judy, you need a microphone. You need a stand. You need a Wi-Fi extender. I'm like, thank you. If it wasn't for them educating me, I wouldn't know what to do. I depend on them.
I forgot to get it out. Go put it at your table. He's putting together Legos.
He's got a farm Lego set that he's working on, and it's driving him crazy that he don't have all the parts he wants.
And I just have one wheel and have two, and I have to have two wheels.
Okay, baby.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So let's jump in.
I'm just gonna like be the harmony to you and Judy. How about that? Will that work?
Well, it was my idea to do this.
It was.
You would think it would be your idea, but it was actually my idea to do this. And the reason I reached out to y'all to do this is because I'm a city girl, right? And I'm not eating an egg that comes out of a chicken's butt, right? I'm not doing that, which is what I told Shane in the beginning of having my farm when he said, let's get chickens. I said, why do I want a chicken? And he said, for farm eggs. I said, I'm not eating an egg that comes out of a chicken's butt. And so I was so green. And Shane is a hunter, and Shane is like, I am going to hunt and we are going to eat what I hunt. And I'm like, Joker, no, I'm not. And he's like, Judy, you go to Chick-fil-A. Where do you think your chicken comes from? I'm like, mine comes from Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Mine
Yes,
does not come from a chicken. And he's
open
like,
the freezer
Judy.
and they pull out a chicken.
And so it is taking me 5 years to understand how it works. I mean, I know that does not make sense to people like you that provide for your community, but for people like me that grew up in the city and has never seen a chicken in person before in my life, like
That's right.
it's hard for me to process and understand and respect
That's
farmers. That what when you go into Publix and you go to the meat section and you get ground beef and you get pork chops, like that is a farmer that did that. And for me to understand that I actually know someone that actually does that, like I feel honored to know y'all that you do that, because it is a different side of farming than what I do.
That's right.
But it is something that's what we do. That if you eat meat, you buy from a farmer. It's from Publix, but you buy from people like you. And when I went and listened to your testimony, I squalled like a baby when I listened to your testimony. I was like, listening to your mission that you wanted to feed your community, I was like, because I felt like we were the same. Because where you want to feed your community, I wanted to reach out to my community and educate. And it was just like, we have the same mission, but we're total opposites. Totally. And I thought us coming together to talk about it, and because a lot of people don't like to talk about that stuff. It's just like, like me, I've been doing this anticipation of having she have piglets, right? And the anticipation was so exciting, but reality set in. And I was like, this is not what I thought it was. This is awful.
Yeah,
this is terrible. And like, and I feel like that we need to bring people to understanding of when you're in the Chick-fil-A line, you're maybe like me and not really understanding the hard work behind the Chick-fil-A chicken and where it came from. Right. And I think that your testimony is an inspiration. And I think that if people really heard your testimony about feeding your community, I feel like that people would respect you in a totally different way.
That's pretty cool.
Then we do have a common goal. Both farms are serving our community.
Absolutely.
And Zoe has a huge goal of having an education center on our farm.
Hey, Egypt.
Teaching people how to do certain things, that we're doing. I actually said I wasn't going to tell it. We were watching Judy's piglets be born while we were processing chickens. That's what we were doing. We had a TV set up and we were watching Judy. And we have a lot of commmmon goals.
We do.
Our pigs are exactly the same.
They are.
Just
we were
the end goal is different.
I said this, I was live one day and I was actually talking about going live with y'all. And I gave my opinion about processing animal versus petting zoo animals. And now this is Judy's opinion. This is just how I feel. I'm not trying to throw my opinion on everybody.
No, go
I
ahead.
feel like just like God puts different plants on the earth, right? There's plants you eat, and there's plants that are just for being pretty, right? So there's two different types of plants in the world. I feel like also there's two different types of animals. There's animals that you process, and then there's animals that you don't. Like you're not gonna process a Polish chicken. Why? Because they're not meaty. They're long and lean. So like the thought of putting a Polish chicken in the crock pot, you're gonna starve, because that is not a type of chicken that you actually process. But there's also chickens that only live I can't remember, to help me, the name of the chicken that
Cornish cross.
Cornish cross.
All right. So that they only live 8 weeks.
Right.
So do you think that God meant for them to be a petting zoo animal? If I went to Tractor Supply and bought those, not knowing what they are, I'm going to be heartbroken when they're dead.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Because we're not educated to know, and it's bad because Tractor Supply sells them. Because I went into Tractor Supply,
they do,
and I was like, people come in here wanting baby chicks,
no idea,
and they have no idea what they're buying. But and so like, I feel like there's a difference in an animal that's raised for petting versus,
when you were doing that live the other day, I told Nick, I said, there are animals that are meant to feed our bellies, and there's animals meant to feed our souls. And they're two different ones, and they have different purposes. And just because we raise animals to feed our bellies, we still treat them like the animals that you raise to feed people's souls.
Well, and I also
I
talked about Penny Lane. Penny Lane was a rescue. She is a jumbo pekin duck. A jumbo pekin duck is bred for food. They are not a petting zoo animal.
That's right.
And many of times people get them not understanding what they're buying, because they want to buy baby ducks because they're cute, right? And then they go throw them at the lake, and these ducks can't survive because they get very large very quickly, and then they start having leg and feet injuries because they're so large that they can't keep their body up, and their longevity of life is not long. Like a regular duck can live up to 12 years, but a jumbo pekin is not like that. So now you're seeing the results of that through Penny Lane.
Sure.
Did you see Head Family's comment? If you missed them, Judy, Head Family was with us too.
What?
I wanted to make sure you saw Head Family on here with us
Jacqueline and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel, I'm a petting zoo, and I'm having to take care of a jumbo pekin that is at the point of her last of life. And I'm watching her suffer, not really suffer, but not have a quality of life because someone didn't process her. And, jumbo pekins were put here. You think of a pekin restaurant, that's what they're talking about, is a jumbo pekin. They're bred for food. And I feel like God put those animals on the earth to, like, where you want to feed your community, it's feeding us. Right. And like I said, just like there's plants on this earth that are here to feed us. And then there's plants that you don't eat, that you just admire. And so that was just my intake on that. And a lot of times, me being a petting zoo, and sometimes, like I post something cute, like me laying down with Shishi or something like that, and I get the comments, you should slaughter that pig, like people trying to attack me. But see, I'm going to tell you from my standpoint, learning over the past 5 years, I've learned that those do not insult me, because that is a type of farming that I would like to learn. I would. You know, because you think about,
And that does not change who you are in any way either.
Well-
but am I wrong in saying you would like to learn my side too, right?
Absolutely.
Because y'all want
Yeah.
to get alpacas. So
Right.
you
You
want
know-
to learn my side as well as I want to learn your side.
That's right. And we have the animals that are there as constant fixtures, you know, the donkeys and some of the goats. They're not going anywhere. They're not for feeding
Right.
the community. So they are there. A great example is our peacocks.
Mhm.
Zoe loves those birds, and they are just for her to watch.
Mhm.
That's it.
I love listening to them.
Even if she doesn't video them, she just watches them for
Can I
her.
tell you this?
Okay.
So my first peacock that I ever got passed away, and he was in my freezer forever because I wanted to do taxidermy. And so some people might freak out about that, you know, because like sometimes, people want to use taxidermy to preserve their, or not, what do you
Sure.
call that? Not preserve. You call it preserve? Your animal?
Yeah. Like an honor. It's
I don't know what would be a good word for that. I don't want to call it the same
somebody
words
will
we would
tell
use
us.
for a deer, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
It-
know what word to use for that. Preserve's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like a memorial.
Yeah. Yeah. Like an honor.
Yeah.
I wanted to put it in my education center.
I love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
But
That would be
I
cool.
think that's great for people to see
Right.
it up close and
Memorialize. That's
That's
a
a
good
good
word.
word.
Christy. Yeah.
But you think about, like, most people wouldn't like stuff their
Right.
dog or cat, or, like, it's like different how we are with different animals. Like, you wouldn't do that with your dog, but you would do that with a beautiful bear or a bobcat or a deer, like
Miss
that's a
Dawn, I'm
respect.
so sorry that you can't watch. Miss Dawn can't watch because you're with us because we use for food. So I'm so sorry you can't join us, Miss Dawn. You can join Miss Judy on another live.
she didn't care for that much, I guess.
She won't watch you because we're with you.
And you know what? I respect her feelings.
I do too. I get it. We
I
have
think
people that
that-
reach out to us and let us know that, because of what we do, they choose not to follow us. And that's great.
That's fine. That's part of it.
It is. It's part of it.
I want to tell you what I deal like, and I feel like part of having a channel is to respect everybody's feelings and know that not everybody is for that. I mean, there's a lot of vegetarians out there that are totally against eating an animal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like with me, I have Dexter the bull in my petting zoo, and I cannot tell you how many like older farmers that have like cattle farms, they come to my farm and they're like, quit fighting. They're like, Judy, you should be ashamed of yourself for having children in this farm with a bull. And I'm like, it's kind of like the same thing. It's kind of like in your face, in my head, I'm like, but I do have to understand that Dexter could have a bad day and hurt someone, but so could my goat. So could my ram. So could my donkey. Like all of them do.
And our dog,
But there's a difference in a cattle farm and a petting zoo. Dexter gets hands-on every single day.
He's used to it.
He meets new people every single day. He is totally different. But that farmer that came into my farm that has been in a cattle farm all their life are like appalled by the fact that I would have a bull in a petting zoo.
That's right.
It's the same thing with a vegetarian that listens to someone who processes animals. It seems so absurd to them that you would do that. But at the end of the day, I think if people heard, first of all, for someone that's a vegetarian that's totally against that, like, you don't want to change their mind. That's their opinion. And like, not every page is for you. Just like I get on a lot of people's nerves because I baby taught my animals and I'm laying down with pigs and I'm kissing how many people have beat me up over kissing Kate on the lips? They're like, Judy, you're going to die from salmonella. I'm like, dude, if I do, that's how I want to die. I want to smooch him right in the lips. And like, but like my page is not for everyone. My page is it's not everyone thinks that that's cute. They think it's disgusting that I would kiss a baby alpaca right in the smacker.
Zoe would so kiss a baby alpaca.
They think that's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, we have to be ourselves, right? And I think if people heard my mission and heard your mission, like where did you come up with wanting to feed your community? Like, where did that all come from?
Well, in the beginning, we planted a garden, and our garden was how long?
The first one?
The big one.
Oh, it was like 400 feet long, about 50 feet wide. And
we pray a lot. And so while we're on the farm and just trying to laid out where things need to be, we're like, Lord, just tell us what you want from us. And so Nick was like, we're going to plant this garden. Either it's going to work or it's not. And I kept telling him, I feel this urge that it's either going to be prosperous and we're going to feed the community, or it's not, and we're going to find something else. And it was not. We have not yet had a garden that was prosperous enough to share to the community. It's
been plenty for us, but the extra that we wanted to be able to provide to other people, it's just not been the abundance, but everything else has been abundant.
Right. We decided that we wanted to begin raising chickens for our family. So we got a batch of 25 chickens. We wanted it for us because we were trying to know where our food was coming from for our family. We wanted to grow it. We wanted to know it. We wanted to know what was going in it, and just to be able to provide a healthier meal for ourselves. Well, after that first few chickens, we said we need to share this with people we know. And we started feeding the community. We shared 25 chickens with 25 families.
Gave it all away.
Gave them away.
Every one of them.
Take it and eat it. This is the healthiest chicken you're ever going to eat, and it tastes better than anything you've ever had in your life. And that's when we kind of knew that it wasn't vegetables. It's meat. We are to provide meat to our community. And we've done that. We donated turkeys last year to some organizations. We've donated eggs. We have chickens. We've given chicken to people who couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
Who wanted them, couldn't afford them. We said, you know what?
Take one. Try
it. Right. And the Lord is really blessing us with that because we're being obedient and being sure to provide for the community. Would you go in there?
It helped, baby. Go in. It helped the community. It just wasn't the direction that we thought it was going to be.
We thought it was going to be a garden. We really did. We didn't know that we were going to get into the extent of meat. And we did.
It's neat how God opens the doors and shows you. It's like with me with Snead's Farmhouse, and I thought that I was supposed to do tours, and I realized that when my mission, just like your mission was to feed the community, mine was to give back what God had blessed me with. And I thought it meant people come into my farm, and He's opened the door for social media that people may come to my farm, but I can bless them through social media. And it's been such an eye-opener when He opens the door like that, like He has with you. You thought it was going to be a garden.
One way. Yeah.
It's like something totally different. And I saw Nico goes, Judy, people actually give by comments to me. Are you kidding me? I'll give you an example. Just in past 2 days, I've lost 70 followers on YouTube in 2 days.
It hits you in the
And
the
you're like,
gut.
what am I doing wrong? But you know what? On days like that, I send Nick a message and I'm like, oh, dude, you think yours is bad? Wait till you hear mine. I've lost 70.
She does. She
And-
really does.
You know, like, hey, tell Zoe she got her makeup made fun of. Well, guess what? I have cheese ball hair. Or your makeup looks terrible. But you know what? I am learning a lot through this. And at
That's
the end
right.
of the day, you have to be yourself. And if you try to change yourself for other people, that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Because I feel like God has y'all out on a mission.
Yeah.
And like you said, to feed your community, and where at the end of the day, I have to be myself. I realize putting on makeup in the morning is the stupidest thing you've ever seen in your life, and it has nothing to do with farming, but it's just who I am.
That's right.
who I am.
That's
And
right.
I watch it drinking my coffee, Judy. I have to hear what's going on.
But see, the truth is, it's hard for me to sit still and talk. Like, I'm having a hard time right now. I feel like I need to break out the mascara right now.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time. And like, when I'm busy, like, I don't plan what I'm doing live.
That's right.
I don't have this little checklist that says this. I get on here and just whatever comes out of my mouth is coming out of my mouth. And sometimes I get off my live and go, oh, dear God, why did I say that?
We do that all the time.
I do that.
What?
especially when I'm
Did
with
I
the boys.
say that? My family is going to bash me for talking about that or whatever. But like, I just had to be myself. And when I lose 70 subscribers next month, I'll gain 70 that is for
That's right.
me.
That's
And
right.
That's where we're at.
And you know how this is from God, right? You know that your mission is from God. And when something's built upon him, you can't lose, right? Because it wasn't your idea.
That's right.
Your idea was to have a garden.
Right. Yeah.
Where's that get you?
We're gonna do this whether we do it with the internet or not.
That's right.
We're gonna do this because this is how we choose to raise our family and how we choose to raise our
Joseph,
farm.
thank you. I don't know if that was for me or them, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know.
I don't know how to tell
I how to read this thing tonight.
I see it. I'm seeing all the comments. I have no idea what channel's on what. So
I don't either. So thank you.
I know how Jason feels watching all those comments
Just
scroll
scroll
so
and scroll.
fast,
I
and it's
can't even
nowhere
tell how many
near
people-
what theirs
I
are.
can't tell how many people are on here.
232.
Yeah, it's fluctuating, but that's what it says.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's all.
it's
I guess it's all channels. I don't know.
It's probably
Pearl
I
and
can't
I
even-
lipstick. Yep, huge. I get my
Pearl and
pretty
Iron
stick
lipstick.
out and we go to town, don't we?
With those comments scrolling that fast, I can't imagine what that's like for them with having like 4 or 5.
Candy said
It's
that's
on.
what Lester said. He lost 2,000 and gained 2,600. You know,
Yeah, it is.
If I lost 2,000, I would fall apart
Ooh.
because that's like a quarter of our channel.
Well,
Lester probably didn't even notice.
I
I
knew the numbers.
like yesterday, during my live, there were kids there, and a lot of people were saying negative things about letting kids watch it and kids being too loud and all that. Well, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video today and tell you what my mission is for my farm. And that's to educate. And, if a parent allows the kids to watch this, what a great education piece it is. And if a parent doesn't want their kids to watch it, but, these 3 girls that were there yesterday, what a beautiful experience it was for them. And as far as Shishi, because some people were like, oh, Shishi's in such distress. Can I tell you that I have been with Shishi since she was 6 weeks old. And I know when she's in distress and when she's not.
That's
And
right.
if she was upset,
You would have
the
done
last thing I would do, I would tell the girls that they would need to leave.
Well,
That's
she
right.
would have let you know.
Yes. She would have
She was-
let you know. She would have been
Shishi is
restless.
around kids every day, loud
That's
kids,
right.
screaming kids, and I would never do that. Y'all know me well enough to know that I'm not going to put my animals into stress.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
so, and sometimes, and you just have to just roll with it, and you have to know as a farm owner what you're comfortable with and what you're not. And at the end of the day, everybody likes to give opinions, just like I give you my opinion. I tell you what I believe, and that doesn't mean that you have to agree with me. In the world that we're in today, everyone feels something different, and the great thing is we can all be nice and respect each other's opinion.
That's right. Yeah. See, like the difference in that is she is around kids and people all the time. All your animals are, and ours
Nick,
are
you were
not.
talking about the difference in my petting zoo, picking them up, wiping them off, and all that.
That's right.
That's right. Ours, we did not do that. If I were to do that, then Ellie would have gotten up and been concerned about her babies rather than just continuing her labor. I would have interrupted because she is not used to a bunch of people. I could not have had the kids out there with me while she was laboring. She trusted me because I'm with her every day. I pet on her. I hand feed her just like any other animal. But if I'd had my kids out there, my pig would have been in distress because she would not have rested well and labored well, knowing that there were other people around.
Right.
The only reason she was able to do that was because it was just me who she trusts.
That's right.
And she is used to having strangers in and out and loving on her and touching on her. And if that had been an issue, she would have gotten up and moved around.
Yeah,
she would have nosed them. She would have let you know, and that, and everybody who knows you knows that she would have come first in the situation.
Yeah.
And it was very good that those two were so close together.
Yeah, 2 days.
And I was talking to Judy about it earlier, that you saw the difference. Our pigs are raised in the woods. They're pastured pigs.
Right.
Now, granted, Ellie is not going anywhere.
No.
Ellie is a pet.
She is.
She's one of Zoe's mamas. She's hand fed and she's belly rubbed and all this good stuff.
Her breed is
but her breed is a meat pig.
Right.
And
it's a breeding pig.
But Ellie is one of our girls. She stays there, and it's just like Peggy. You and I were both there for Peggy's farrowing that we videoed. Those animals trust us to be there. So I saw all the comments flowing through there, people telling Judy, get those kids out of there. She would have let you know if she wanted those people cleared out. There's no question. And I actually commented that. I said,
is still an animal.
I said, y'all calm down. Yeah. If she needs to leave, Judy will do it. Don't worry about it. Y'all calm down.
That's right.
Well,
and we've had people that, just like Dexter, we've had people say something about Rhett being in with Henry. Henry's a monster. He's 700 pounds. He would lay in your lap, but it would hurt. But Rhett was toting him around when he was 6 weeks old. He's not aggressive to Rhett.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And people will say, how dare you let your son in there in that pen with him?
On the other hand, we don't leave Rhett in
the pen. We're right there.
We do know that they are animals. All animals can react, no matter if they're wild or tame or what.
Mm-hmm.
So
the difference in the petting zoo and your animals is like, it's important for me for all that to happen with Shishi, because that's what keeps her tame.
Right.
Like for example, I decided that I was going to put these 2 rabbits outside and let them be out there with the chickens, and they're turning feral. And it's because they're not being held.
That's right.
And it's happening quickly. And I'm thinking, this is a disaster. Like, as soon as kids go in there, the rabbits run straight up under the house.
Right.
They're not letting me pick them up. And part of me having a petting zoo is to expose them. Yes. And like the kids being in there. And I mean, like that my animals need to be used to that.
That's right.
Come. I mean, when I do field trips, I have 100 kids.
You don't need to worry if you have.
So I have 30. I have 30 in each, 33 in each station. Where there's 33 screaming kids running out there with a 1,500-pound bull and 3 pigs. And it's like, if I don't keep them exposed to kids and adults, even in like, having babies, like I have to expose them constantly in order to keep them tame. And that's part of me teaching not only the kids what happens with animals, but teaching the animals to used to strangers being around.
That's absolutely right.
And if I'm there, she knows my voice, she knows my smell, she feels safe and knows that everybody's around her is safe if I'm there. Now, I don't know what would have happened if I wasn't there, but let's talk about the pigs, for example. You guys said the pigs she's going to build a nest. And y'all showed me like every day I'm walking around going, where's this nest? Where's this nest? She ain't. And then when she went over there, I was like, what's she doing? She ain't building a nest. And all of a sudden I was like, is this the difference in a petting zoo pig and a pig that's bred for processing? Like, is this the difference? Because she's so used to people that she don't fear hitting them.
Right.
So she didn't build a nest.
Protect them from
so
predators.
She doesn't have that predator instinct. Like what I showed you when I took the video of what Ellie had done, she had cleared all the branches from that area and piled them all up and got under them.
Under a tree.
Because even though she's tame, you can do whatever you want with Ellie. She still has that instinct because she's raised on pasture and woods, that she still has that predator instinct. So she built a nest, and you saw her sisters are gathered around while she's giving birth. All her sisters are laying there.
Yeah.
So we have 4 sows, and they're all sisters. And they all crowded around, and Zoe's in the middle, and she's got all these sows laying around her. But they're all used to her, so they were all okay. But they're all guarding Ellie while she's giving birth.
That's right.
And it's that instinct
right,
that they have because they're still raised in the woods and pasture, where they're not in a farm setting, petting zoo setting, where they're completely safe and interacting with people. And there's a difference there, but neither one's wrong. And they're both happy, healthy pigs.
And you're not the only one that told me she was going to build a nest. I mean, you're not the only farm that told me she was going to build a nest.
Oh,
every single pig person told me she was building a nest. And again, I would video myself every day. Oh, let's go find Shishu's nest. Well, she hadn't built a nest yet, because I was expecting that to happen.
Yeah.
And when it didn't happen, I was like, what's wrong?
Like, are you a pig?
People had told me, hey, you need to get them some hay out there.
That's
to
right.
Nest
Our first
with.
time, we got a cold snap.
We had never done it before. We had cold weather coming. We're like, okay, so we put out 2 bales of hay and made sure that we got it out. It was like, okay, she can build her nest. Same thing. They built up branches, had them in a fallen tree.
Never touched the hay.
They moved the babies up to the hay 2 days later. It was super cold, and Zoe went out, and you can see on Big Family Small Farm when they came out there, Angie was wanting to see the baby pigs, and they're all up under the hay.
Yep, they're all nestled in the hay.
You just see hay moving around. But it was 2 days later before they even used that. And everybody was telling me, hey, you got to put hay out there. They used branches and trees and did it their own way. So
yeah. Well, one thing I could figure is just she didn't feel scared to have her babies.
There was nothing for her to fear, and even your other pigs weren't, or were they? Were they gathered around?
You know who was gathered around?
Who was there?
Dexter and Leroy.
I saw Leroy.
They're up here doing CPR on one of the babies, and Dexter and Leroy are right here, and I'm like, and they were like, "Get that cow!" I'm like, "No, he's fine."
I did see you trying to get
He's
Leroy
not
out.
gonna hurt me. They're like sniffing it.
What's
you know?
that? What is that?
And then last night when I shut the pig house to put her and the babies in there, Leroy's doing donuts. Just like circling doing donuts outside her pig house. And I was like, this is a train wreck.
So because of saying that, when hey, go blow your nose.
Go, bud.
So when
Red, stop,
I
buddy.
did, Diane. Pick those sticks.
So when Daniel, do you remember the video when Freedom was having the baby?
Mm-hmm.
And he went out, and what's the male's name? What is?
Oh gosh.
Well,
why am I not...
on Arms Family, their
Is it
male.
Steve?
Is it Steve? Their male donkey had the female and was going in circles like that.
Was.
Because he sensed she was in labor.
She was in
and
distress.
She was in distress, and he wanted her to stand up. She was laying down birthing. Yes, Steve. And he had her and was spinning her in circles, and they did not know what he was doing at first. So Daniel was filming it while DJ was coming, and that's why, because, and that's probably what was going on with Leroy too, is he sensed that she was in distress because she was in labor, and it's that instinct for a donkey to do that, going in circles.
Buddy, you're gonna have to quit.
He wants to see everybody. Wave at everybody. Tell everybody hello.
You see Aunt Judy?
Say hey. Everybody saw Farmer Rip.
Everybody saw Farmer Rip pop up.
He ain't got no shirt on. He's showing his pom poms.
Buddy, hey, quit.
Okay, holler. Don't be hollering. Yes, Steve.
Well, it was weird because it was almost as if they sensed one of the piglets was struggling, because the second the piglet was struggling and I was doing that, they came straight to me. Like they were like, "What's going on? What's going on? Do you need my help? I'll help you."
Yeah, they knew that you as well were, not your calm. Well, I'm sure you were calm, but not your normal presence either. That there was some stress about you, some urgency.
Yeah. Well, I would have been in trouble because Shane was working, and I had some people here, and if I would have by myself, I would have been in trouble. I would have been in so much trouble. And I'm very thankful that I had people on the farm helping me, because they were experienced delivering dogs, and they knew exactly what to do. I mean, it was almost like this one was like a vet. I mean, she like elbowed me and is like, "I'm taking over." And she just took over, and I was like, "I'm okay.
Got it.
I don't know what I'm doing. Go ahead."
I forgot to mention that a while ago, and I saw somebody comment on it about the kids being there and talking about it being a good thing that those kids experience that. Rhett's 4 years old, and he's experienced every animal we have giving birth. He's experienced eggs hatching, pigs, goats, a donkey being born. I don't know of very many 4-year-olds that understand all of that.
Well,
he knows the process of
death.
Yes,
too,
and understanding
animals, right?
Loss.
Yeah,
and I think he's just way ahead in his understanding of how things work,
because we've let him experience those, and we didn't make it hard or hide any of it. We've always explained it. If we knew why, we explained to him why. If they weren't thriving, or just, all of it. We don't hide that from the kids. And I think it's very important for kids, especially now when everything's so technology related, to be able to get out there and be hands-on and to know what's going on.
But even though it's not so much a working farm setting, even on Judy's farm where she focuses on education, those girls got an experience that none of their classmates have had.
All right.
But let's talk. I mean, they also got to experience the death of an animal.
That's right.
Right.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't
But-
all roses. And that's what I had to talk to them afterwards about, and goes, y'all just watched us still, it was born dead. And I'm like, you watched me give CPR and it died. Like,
Right.
those are not fun things, but it's what happens on the farm. And like, where we can do all these wonderful, cute little pictures and me lay at the pigs. But can I tell
Right.
you, my life has been pure hell the past
Yep.
24 hours. And
That's
tomorrow I will go live and talk about all that I've been through in the past
That's
24 hours. But I had to go, okay, wipe it off. You got to go live at 6 o'clock and pretend like not a darn thing's happened. Throw on a little mascara and smile and get through. Because your life, I
We
have
do.
been
We put out there the good. People want to see the happy parts of the farm. And that, going back to our original thing, is we are more than just people who kill chickens or pigs. That's I mean, we are more than that. We are raising a family that to know what this is, to know how to be self-sufficient, because eventually we're going to have to. We're going to have that need. And I want our kids to be able to say, I can do it. I can run the farm if mom and dad have to go away for the night. I can do this. Or, it's more than just we kill animals.
Yep. Well,
And people will choose not to be a part of our farm because we kill animals. And it is so much more
It's so
and different than that.
it's so horrible to say that.
It is, because we're chickens. We process chickens for our community.
Yeah.
One day in 7 weeks.
Right.
One day. And people will not like our farm
So-
for one day.
Here's the difference is, we talk about knowing where your food comes from. So if you go get a chicken in the grocery store, you don't want to see that chicken's life or how it was ended.
Well, just go down the street and look at all the 18-wheelers with the chickens in the back.
Yeah. You don't want to see that. So
Disgusting.
anybody,
Chicken plants. Shane,
If
that's what
you-
Shane does.
if you
Disgusting.
watch when Zoe is feeding the birds and you see all the white butterballs running around chasing her, those are Cornish cross. Those are the ones you eat. That's what you buy in the grocery store.
Mhm.
But ours are out in sunshine eating bugs and grass and still running at 8-9 weeks old. And theirs don't live past 6 weeks because they've never seen sun, and
Fresh grass.
there's
right?
very, very different, but it's still in the way you process them. Before processing, there's a prayer. There's
Right. I was going to say
being respectful for that animal and
that. Hey, Kenzie.
for it feeding you and your family and the people around you and your friends and your community. You have to be thankful for what they're doing, and you're humane in how you handle that. So we're very careful in how we do those things.
Mhm.
And it's like the pig butchering. We didn't show the actual processing part. We did the cut up, just showing you where does your bacon come from? Here's where it comes from.
Right.
And that was not a well received video at all. And we understood that.
That's
But there
okay.
were a lot of people that
like
did
the information part.
appreciate it. Like, hey, I really appreciate seeing that. But then again, Garrett, the guy that taught us,
Oh, man.
is a pastor.
He is.
So the first thing we did was prayed over that animal.
And we thank the animal for the life it has given to feed so many people.
Right.
And we thanked it for letting us have the opportunity to raise it in the setting that it was raised.
Nico just made a really good point
Let me put it-
about perspective. If you order 16-piece wings at Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings, that was 8 chickens.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. You know your chickens only got 2 wings. Your chickens
that's
don't have
fine.
extra wings.
That's right.
But it's how you handle it too.
It is.
How you process that animal, how it's all handled is very, very important to us.
Not in a malicious way. We don't do our stuff in a malicious or greedy way.
Well, we don't treat them that they're food.
Right.
Well, and too, like sometimes, and I'm not. Listen, this is what I would have done. Okay, so I am not bashing anybody that does this, but I would have been the basher. Oh my gosh, they killed their chickens, and I would have been in the Chick-fil-A line.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, they, oh my God. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. And now that I've experienced the farm life and understand where our food comes from, it's a different picture for me. It's a different feeling and it's a different respect.
She said people also seem to want to only know the happy parts of human life as well, and because of this have difficulties coping with hard times we all have.
Sure.
Children need to know death happens in humans and animals and is final. There's no coming back from it. That's a good point, Miss Daff.
It is. And for Judy, she gets the total opposite end of that.
Right.
Where then people that only see animals as food can't fathom the fact that you have cows out there that are just for kids to play with. They don't get that.
Yes.
Cows are not for kissing.
Right.
That's like it. You should never kiss a cow. I cannot believe it. And I'm like, wow.
Right.
Are they serious? And they're like dead serious. They're like, you have no idea what could happen to you. And I'm like, I know. That's how I got him the way he is, because I was so innocent. I feel like I didn't know.
Knowing too much can be bad too.
Yeah.
I mean, it really can.
Yeah.
When will the mom pigs stop laying on the piglets, or do piglets just learn to run? I don't think they don't intentionally lay on piglets.
I think it happens, and we've had it happen a couple of times. I think it just tends to happen while they're feeding and mom readjusts.
Yeah.
And you're talking about what is she? She probably 300 to 400, maybe. Is she that heavy?
She big.
And you're talking about like Ellie is probably 500
at least.
That is a huge animal compared to a less than a pound piglet. So
that has all these little bitties.
Well, pigs don't gracefully fall. They go
right. They don't. They just kind of.
And they're like.
They just kind of flop.
It's like a WWE wrestling move. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. Apparently they have thick skin, because I'm like, why can't they feel them? But I think when the impact, you think about 300 pounds hitting a baby piglet, they probably die instantly.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even if mom moved, I don't think.
Yeah. And mom's not spring chicken gonna jump up like that. It takes some maneuvering.
Y'all, she just gave birth 10, 12, 14 times.
Right.
And, she's a little sore, probably a little stiff.
Yeah.
So it just happens. We've had that happen with ours, and it just part of it.
It is. And that's one thing as well is, we've come to know that things just happen and we cannot control it. I had that one piglet who was this little bitty, teeny tiny.
Oh gosh, I know.
And I tried so hard to make her thrive. And no matter what I did, she was not going to thrive. Mm-mm. And at that point, I had to realize that I cannot make every birth successful.
Well, it's Bar 7 Ranch just had a baby alpaca pass, and that's all. It was just nothing but same thing that happened with our donkey Stormy. Sometimes they just fail to thrive. They won't nurse, and they just cannot make it. And that's where I don't care if you're a petting zoo, a working farm, or what. That is part of your farm life.
It is.
And there's no way around it, no way to avoid it.
And it hurts.
And then sometimes as a creator, you're like, Do I show this or do
Yeah.
I not?
Yeah.
If I show this, they're going to get mad at me.
That's
but this
right.
is real life. This is what happens. And so, like,
Oh.
tomorrow, I'm gonna talk about a horror story that's happened to me today, and it's like, do I share that? Do I not? But I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, I have to tell you what happens on my farm.
That's right.
You know, and I think
I don't want somebody to call us out because we didn't share that too. You know, we want to be as transparent as we can.
Right. And they don't believe me, they will call you out in a heartbeat.
She knows.
You know, and we had she does. You know, we had Stormy. Stormy was lost in the woods. She was born in a thunderstorm. And Zoe found her. She was wet and cold.
Tangled up in briars.
We did all we could do with her and tried everything we could think of, and she just could not get it together. And Zoe and I were devastated not only at the loss of that baby, that donkey colt, but then we looked at each other and were like, we have to tell people
because she was on our
that this donkey died on us. And how do we tell them that and them not think, well, you just screwed it up's what happened? And that was where we were at. It was like people's just gonna think, well, you just don't know what you're doing.
Well, you know, I do field trips a lot. And it's funny because when kids come here and I tell them I'm a YouTuber, they're all like, are you serious? And I've immediately become the coolest person ever. And they're like, oh yeah, she's my aunt. You know, they think I'm cool. But parents have talked to me, oh, they're dying to be a YouTuber. Should I let them? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I mean, I have some mixed emotions about it because, like, you have to be tough as nails. And I don't feel like children are really ready for the comments that are fixing to happen to them. And you can't be a softie. You know what I mean? And I'm sort of learning all this as I go. And, like, when you experience, like, your animals passing and you're scared, do we tell them? Do we not? Do we tell them? Do we not? And it's like, I don't want to live my life like that.
That's right.
I don't. I do not want to live like my life going, do I tell them the truth? Well, you know what, jokers, I'm telling you the truth. And if you don't like it, you're going to have to. The 70 people that left me last week, y'all guess 70 more can leave me this week because say this is the true things that happen on my farm. And my goal is to be myself.
That's right.
And tomorrow morning on my live, listen, you know, you don't know what you're going to get with me. I'm either going to be funny as crap or bawling my eyes out. There's no in between. There's no in between. And so, you know, I think with us, you know, dealing with our farm and I think at the end of the day, we just have to be ourselves. And I think if we stick to our mission and constantly make sure that we tell each follower every live what your mission in life is with your farm, I think it reiterates why you do what you do. Because if I go, hey, I kill animals every day to eat them.
Right.
Hey, I kiss my alpaca right smack in the lips every single day.
Well, you know, the bad part is that Zoe will do both. You know, if they missed it, we paid a visit to Judy, and Zoe spent the entire visit sitting on a bench holding her baby alpaca.
And you ought to be ashamed for not getting her one of those babies.
I know it.
Hey, we're working on it.
I'm just playing with you. But yeah, I mean, I think that your mission, even though we're totally different farms, I eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian. I do eat meat. I personally don't like pork, but it's just because I don't like the taste. I think it's because I don't know how to cook it because it always tastes dry to me. But I do like bacon, but that's about it. But I don't eat ham. I don't eat pork chops.
Right.
It doesn't taste good to me. But I'm more but I'm not even a steak eater, really. I'm more of a chicken eater. And imagine that. All I have in my farm.
I got some really good chicken.
But I think it is fantastic, your mission and what you do in feeding your community. And I support y'all 100%. And I think that if people really got to know you, and I always tell people, it's sometimes it's hard when you go live or you know, go to bigger channels and you get their followers all of a sudden and they're like, they ain't nothing like them. And then
That's right.
I'm like, give me 30 days. Just
That's
give
right.
me 30 days. And I think if people knew your heart and knew your
If they
mission,
knew us, I think people would appreciate the camaraderie that we have. We're not so serious.
And
all
it's the same. It's the same thing with people that do watch working farm channels. Is that there's value in seeing the channels that are more of a petting zoo or educational, because Judy is not only teaching these kids that come in petting zoos and giving them experience to farm animals that they probably are not going to see any other time. Some might, but imagine how many of those kids are not going to see alpacas in their life. They're never going to be that close to a cow.
Right.
Or they're never going to see a peacock up close.
Or
But they
even
can,
a chicken.
but they can go out there and see her animals, interact with them, not to be scared of them, but they don't have to have the same outlook as a working farm. There's a common goal here with all of us.
But
And
like you talk about your education center and like teaching kids, like where their food comes from. Can you imagine you getting just like say a group of kids from the city and you go, do you know where your chicken comes from? And they go, and they're like, yeah, mine comes from Publix, just like me. And you're like, no, chickens come from farmers. And for them, I mean, they might be going, are you serious? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But like, I talked in my live about, our great grandmothers. A lot of people that come to my farm that are like old enough, like 60. Okay, 60 is not my great grandmother, but it's my age, but almost. But our great grandmothers or our grandmothers, their job was to go out, wring a chicken, and bring it to supper for mom and
not blink, not bad enough.
And no one thought a darn thing about that.
Not even think about it.
I get to hear those stories all the time. That's what my job was. And I had to go collect the eggs and there were snakes in there. And, I hear all those stories all the time. But like in today's world, people, because it's not taught today. And so like, but since COVID hit, it's like the world's going back to homesteading. So it's starting to like more people are starting to go, where does your chicken come from? Wait a minute. Really?
Yeah.
And so like it's like starting to come back. So I'm so glad to know y'all that that do that and being able to educate people.
Zoe's when she has her education center, she wants to teach people to can, how to preserve their food, how to make bread.
You didn't understand that.
And she can make 5 gallons of laundry soap, for a couple of bucks. Mm-hmm. But just showing people how to do those types of things may sustain them one of these days. When, we got an opportunity to see how fragile our
nation
supply can be. And people panicked when they went to the grocery store and couldn't get a pack of hamburger meat, It
was scary for me. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you serious? We can't go get toilet paper? With? It felt scary. And, and understand, like Shane would live off the grid. Like Shane would love life if we pitched a tent and had our own food, and he would love life. And I am like, I gotta have.
I was doing a heartbeat, but Zoe's like, no,
can't do that. But I've learned a lot through Shane because Shane is a hunter, and like there's people in his family that are, vegetarian. They're like, oh my God, you kill deer. And I was like, I'm not eating that. I'm sorry, but I'm literally not eating it. And it's taken, I still, if I think about it,
Yes.
have a hard time.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. But then again, like I said, I just went out to McAllister's today for lunch and had a turkey sandwich.
Right.
And that is not the same versus processing.
You don't appreciate it as much. Know it when you just go and order something.
Right.
Like if we have a chicken, like the night after you helped cut up that hog, we had fresh pork chops that night.
Oh, and they were amazing.
And it was like this, we raised this and look how good it tastes. And that kind of validated us that we were doing right.
So Judy, and I know you know her story, but a lot of people on here might not, is Zoe was city girl too.
Oh man.
She had not done any of this kind of thing. And
Nick taught me to cut grass.
But she looked at me when we were doing this butchering, and I know a lot of people didn't care for that, but when we brought that home and we put them on that Traeger smoker out there, and she's like, our meal tonight was born on our farm. And I was like, yeah, that's a big deal.
It is.
And to me, it is, because I know that what my kids ate that night didn't have anything bad in it.
Right.
There's no way it had anything bad in it because it was born on my farm. Raised
it had
on my
one
farm.
bad day.
It had one bad day its entire life.
Was never mistreated. It was fed horse treats sometimes.
It was. It was.
I have to go put animals to bed.
Yeah,
It's-
we got Chance's almost home from baseball.
Don't you wish your day was just over sometimes?
I know.
It's not over. We gotta go put up birds, and Chances on the way home from ball practice, and yeah, it's not even close.
And I get up just to give you a sneak peek of what Monday's gonna be like. I have to get up every 2 hours.
Yes.
5 babies.
Well, I'm gonna be drinking my coffee in the morning as you put on makeup and tell us all about
I'm
it.
gonna be like this.
You got me putting that. Yeah,
Hey y'all.
that's right.
But I tell
Wake
you
up
what,
every 2 hours.
I really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
That's right.
I mean, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad you suggested this.
Yes.
Supporting farms is important.
That's what it's about. We're all in this together. We all just want to do something for our
And
community.
we 100% support Snead's Farmhouse and what they're
Absolutely.
doing, because there is no telling what would happen around that lake up there if she was not rescuing these animals.
That's
Clint's
right.
starting to hate me over that.
That's all right. It's all right. You just stepping on some toes.
I don't care.
That's right. I don't care. Step
I
on them
don't care.
toes.
But I really did enjoy this, and I appreciate you suggesting it, Judy. It was awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
All right. So
enjoyed
let's
it.
tell everybody good night.
Go ahead. This is you and Judy's show. I told you I was harmonizing with y'all. You
All
and
right.
Judy handle it.
Well, we will see you guys next time.
Thanks
Bye,
for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.